Hi folks, I'm excited to present you my video streaming project that I created using NodeJs and FFmpeg. With reference to YouTube, I named this project MyTube. It's fully responsive and there are three main features I experimented with in this project. First and foremost, I used NodeJs to stream these videos rather than trying to send these large files, video files, to the browser altogether, because as you can see, we have so many of them. In combination with media source extensions in NodeJs, we are actually building these videos incrementally, adding a certain amount of bytes to the initial video chunk, and we will see that in action when I click on one of these videos. But before that, let me just explain why we need FFmpeg in this project. When you're working with video files, FFmpeg is definitely a lifesaver, and in my project, just like YouTube, I'm actually here displaying thumbnail images. What we see here are thumbnail images on the main page rather than the videos themselves. Using FFmpeg in the Next.js API route, I create these thumbnail images from the videos. These images are simply frames from the videos, and we send these images to the client side to provide an initial insight to the user about the video content. So from this video, I know that this is a fight for Gennady Golovkin, etc. Once we click one of them, we actually start bringing chunks from that specific video. In my project, byte range is 2 million bytes, but you can change it though. Let's just see this in action. Yeah, it means like we are actually adding 2 megabyte of video data to the video object at every fetch. Like from the trackbar of the video, you can see that the video is actually building. And we can also test that from the network tab of the browser. Let's just test this from the network tab of the browser. And you can see we're just bringing 2 megabyte of data at every fetch until the video is complete. Like you can see from the trackbar, we are bringing additional chunks and again until the video is completely served to the client. And we can just see the video in action like so. I just muted it, so I need to mute it just so that I can continue my presentation. Yeah, like let's try this one. We just see the video is actually being streamed to the client. We don't need to send the whole file. They are relatively large files to the client altogether. And for the sake of presentation, I just included around 20 of them. And finally, on this main page, I want to show you this slider menu that we see here. I believe it's a best practice because Airbnb uses it, YouTube uses it. It's very neat and efficient. No matter how many items you have in the menu, you can safely count on this slider menu. Besides, it's neat because we don't have fixed back and forth arrows. They actually appear when needed and disappear when not. And we have a slight fog here to just give the user the implication that there is a lot to see, or there's more to see behind this. With the help of some window event listeners, this slider menu allows you to have a pretty menu that works smoothly no matter what the screen size is. So like as you can see, when we end up at the very end of the menu, the arrow disappears. And also we don't need any other calculations because like when we move the menu back and forth, like we can just count on these event listeners and the arrows will dynamically show. And you don't need to write additional CSS for responsive design. Maybe just at the very end of the presentation, I will show you the same slider menu is in place on the website of Airbnb. As you can see, Airbnb has a lot of items in the menu, and when we end up at the very end of the menu, the arrow disappears, and when we need it again, it appears. And it works dynamically. As you can see, we are at the beginning of the menu and we don't have an arrow here, but when we need it, it pops up. Yeah, the same logic applies here. I just applied the same logic and I created this slider menu, and this is something that I will definitely use in my future projects. So I hope you liked the idea, and if so, please make sure you give it a comment or a like.